That is a great segue into talking about money and use of a team, because I think, especially when you're getting out of college or when you're postgraduate and learning how to work with the friends that you do improv with, that you went to college with, there is that really nuanced, what's the difference between a friend that you collaborate with and someone that you pay for their services? Mm-hmm. And so in that very fragile space, how do you navigate knowing what is fair compensation for someone, what's fair to ask of someone else's time when it's not their baby, it's your baby, and figuring out what is respectful, fair, and also off that, how do you know that, how can you kind of feel confident enough in your vision to take someone else's time to keep working on your project when they say, hey, I'm working on something else right now, it's gonna take me an extra month, how do you deal with that? Yeah.
Right. I think that there are lots of ways to compensate people for their time. If you can't pay them, we're all working at some point. So it's like, yeah, maybe I can't pay you for this, but I've got this thing coming up, and it does have money, and I will recommend you. I'll bring you on. There's also, I think we were basically like the minimum we can do is have hot coffee in the morning, have a really good lunch, and we promise like a good time, and I think that everybody has at least that to offer and to bring to the table. And I remember we had to do sort of a with Amy and Lindsay, with the Better Half Girls, we were briefly on Pivot, and we had to do some promos for that. Yep. And they actually gave us money to do them. So we were like, well, this is fun. And so we brought on our sound guy, Boris, who I think did like the last episode maybe, or anyway. Mm-hmm. And we were like, we can actually pay you for this. So would you want to come in and do it? And he was happy to do it. So I think it's just maybe like getting people to say, if it doesn't happen today, it'll happen at some point, because I won't forget the help that you gave me. And I think that that's really important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For this, we self-funded, and I think in all we probably spent $2,000, which really is nothing, because we shot over like 2 months, and luckily the girls were bartenders, so it was very easy to just be like, oh hey, you're in at like 6 tonight, you want to shoot a quick scene? So we'll shoot for like an hour, and like we had all the resources, so that was easy. But as a freelance DP, a lot of people ask me, hey, do you want to work on this? And for me, I get paid for my professional work a lot, and I love to take time to work on things that are meaningful and are good, and I know can be good. So you should never be afraid to ask someone who is a working professional who gets paid to work on stuff. It's always their choice to say no, but you should never be afraid to ask. And for me, when I bring my crew on, I make sure they get compensated. I make sure they get treated well. I make sure, like, I take care of my crew, but then I also know they're working for less today. I'm gonna hire them for my next 3 jobs that pay more. So there's always a balance that can happen, and a lot of favors that you can call in, but I'm always there to help someone, and they're always there to help me. So it's more of a community and less of like a really like payment thing too, Mm-hmm. There's more to it than just the money, I would say. But.
Yeah.